All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Peyton, an editor at BSC. I actually edited this book, Mattson Academy, the fantasy YA novel that comes out September 5th. I'm here with the author, Jay O'Keefe. Hello, Jay.
Hello.
Quick question for you instead of a normal intro, because we've done that a couple times. Mm, what would you say would be like your favorite two elements? Not the two that you would be, just your favorite two in general.
Just my favorite two in general. Well, fire. I've had to go back a couple times because I sometimes I default in fight scenes, especially in so the school sport of Mattson
Mhm.
Academy is magical dueling, and there's a good bit of it that we see even when the main characters aren't partaking, and it's so easy to default to just fireball, fireball, fireball. Um,
Hello, D&D.
which yeah, right? It is. It's why would you ever not fireball? Um, so I it's one of the most fun things about Mattson Academy was
Mhm.
creating this very flexible, very broad magic system, and so with all that put together, I still just defaulted to fireball a whole bunch, and I was like, all right, we've got to reel in the fireballs. We got to do some other stuff. But fire, I mean, it's who doesn't want to, throw a
Right.
fireball? Whether you think of Mario's fireballs, D&D, uh, Todoroki from My Hero,
Yes.
fire, fire, fire everywhere.
Let the
Uh,
world burn.
so that's fire's fun. I also like ice. Ice is
Nice.
a fun one because I think you can make a lot of stuff out of ice. Um, and so I'd like to use folks who get real creative with ice.
Mhm.
I actually it's in book 3, not in book 1, but I actually just wrote a scene where somebody combines light and ice and has like a refracting laser
Ooh,
spell.
that sounds really
So
cool. Guys, buy the book so we can see that.
if you buy book 1, I
Buy
promise I'll
Mattson
finish book
Academy.
3.
Buy it. Yeah, I don't know. Just not to go off on a little tangent, but I'm going to. When you said like ice make, I don't know if you ever watched Fairytale,
I did.
the anime, going back to anime and manga a little bit, but
We've
like,
been
you know,
we've been
ice
talking about
make
anime off
magic.
camera. Yeah, I was even thinking it. Fairy Tale is not one I have watched enough of.
Hmm.
It was one I put on in the background probably while I was writing at
Right.
times. Because it is a very magic focused. So I couldn't remember the character's name, but I do right, the ice make magic. I remember uh
Yeah.
you probably know his name.
Gray. Yeah.
Oh, it's such an
Gray.
easy name too,
I
right?
know.
Come on, Jay. Yeah, because it's him, and then he's got his the fellow student and their
Yes.
master. Yeah, there's the
Yep.
whole.
Tor and Leon.
Okay.
I watched it a lot. I have the whole series. Not to toot my own horn, but yeah.
Hey, no, like I said, it's that there's definitely a lot of anime inspiration in Mattson Academy. It's a book,
Hmm.
it's not a comic or a show, but I certainly had anime on in the background while I was writing. I grew up loving anime
Yeah.
and video games, so there's a lot of that influence, especially in kind of the some of the spectacle, some of
Hmm.
the more dramatic and flashy kind of moments.
Yeah, I think that's why I loved Mattson Academy too. Like, I grew up on anime, I grew up on video games. Like, my family is just a family of nerds. So I definitely picked up on those like inspirations in Mattson Academy, which was it's really fun.
Mhm.
Read the book, guys.
Read
Go
it.
buy it. So yeah, Fire and Ice. So many jokes I could make about that. So many
Yeah,
allusions I could make.
I
But yeah,
even
that's interesting. I wouldn't have expected those two. Maybe Fireball, because Nanette, go Nanette.
go to net. My
Don't blow up your teacher, kids.
Don't
Don't
blow
blow
up
them
your
up.
teacher
Don't blow 'em.
unless they specifically ask, and even
Yeah.
then, maybe don't.
Only if they're blind. Only if they're blind and they can't see it coming.
We're getting
Don't blow
deep
up your
cuts here.
teacher. You have to read the book to understand. So
Mm-hmm.
go read the book. You want a teacher to be blown up? Go read the book. It doesn't happen. Spoiler alert.
No.
No, we need the teachers.
Cedar
Yeah.
Brock is pretty hardy. He can take it.
Steve Rock, my second favorite teacher after Screed, who we already talked about. If you haven't seen that video yet, go watch it. We talk about Screed. He's a really cool character. So yeah, so in all of this inspiration of like anime and video games, obviously so much stuff can happen in those types of things, but and most of them they can be pretty hard to write, but was there a part that was like easy for you? Not to like make it sound like bad easy, but like, was there a part that was just like, I wrote this really quick and it's really good, like first try, woohoo.
Well, I have two then.
Yeah.
The beginning I found very easy to write. I had been thinking about this kind of world for a while, piecing it together. I'm not much of a plotter. So I didn't have any notes per se, just a
Right.
loose smattering of ideas, the kind of world I wanted to create, a couple of the characters at least prototyped in my mind. So when I started writing, the beginning came out very fast. I really loved just setting up the world, building it, and then those chapters got cut.
Oh,
They
oh yeah.
they
I
weren't.
remember. I know what
Some
you're
of
talking
them, some of them, like I said, Mattson Academy was my debut, my first novel. It's my
about.
debut novel, but it was also the first novel I ever wrote, and it's I think looking back at some of those early drafts, it's clear it's the first thing I ever wrote. So it felt good writing the beginning, but some of it was a little exposition heavy. It was fun for me. It was interesting to just world build,
Hmm.
but it just we had to get to the plot at some point, and so some of it had to go. But the end was also very easy, and I talk about being good. I hope it's good. I hope it's all good. But the end is probably one of the portions that has been least changed since it was first drafted. And I can't read the end because that spoils things, obviously. But I
Yeah.
can say the last like 8,000 words I wrote in a day and a half. Like I
Nice.
kind of I got to that climax and I was like, this is it. Like this is the end. And I just it all fell right onto the page, which was nice. But
Hmm.
another thing that's you don't want to say easy to write, but was easier to write, I think, is a lot of the side characters, and one in particular, Van, who is the resident werewolf at the school. And I don't want to say that side characters are one or two dimensional, but they're certainly not always quite as fleshed out as main characters. And so with Van, because he was a werewolf, but he's much more of a puppy, right? And it was just so easy to characterize him that way. I use a lot of dog adjectives and a lot of just, I look at my dogs and like, what is my dog doing? Now make that a 16-year-old boy. It's not that different sometimes. Uh, and but so he's a lot of fun. I think he steals a lot of the scenes that he pops up in because he's so excited. He's so full of energy. He's having fun, but there is definitely some depth to Van, and so
Hmm.
there's a scene where he and Nanette are both in the gym. They're both kind of gym rats a little bit, so they cross paths there a few times, and this was one of them that I thought was just kind of fun.
Hmm.
So Nanette glided through the lukewarm pool with slow, easy strokes. She approached the end at high speed and, without slowing at all, tucked into a flip and kicked off the wall to speed back in the opposite direction. It wasn't the ocean, but swimming reinvigorated her. She didn't miss home, but swimming, she missed swimming. She'd avoided it as long as she could. She thought distancing herself from the water made sense, but now she climbed out to check the time. 3 hours had passed. She dove back in, thinking 10 more laps would be plenty. When she surfaced, she heard a splash behind her. Van's grinning wolf face stared back at her, tongue lolling and dripping with water. His fur was drenched, and he looked more like a wet were-rat than a were-wolf. He shook it out, which only made it stick out in wild spikes, and paddled over toward her. No hard feelings about yesterday, yeah? Gotta go all out, see if you'll make the cut. Please, she snorted. I just hope I didn't rough you up so bad it'll affect the next match. You here to work on your dog paddle? Sort of, he grinned. I need to work on my water magic. Never been great with it. Never been great with anything but fire, really. Thought a little swim would be a good warm up. Want to help me out? Nanette eyed him cautiously. Yeah, why not? I don't have anything else going on. Unless you want to tell me if I made the team or not. No can do. Don't know. Gave our opinions, but coach and the nurse have the final say. I figured. All right, see if you can keep up. Nanette felt more at home in the water than she remembered. While water wasn't her preferred element, the entire pool still moved at her command. With concentration and flowing movements, she could raise waves 10 feet high, emptying half the pool, only to bring it crashing back down. She conjured whirlpools and directed currents to turn the pool into a watery obstacle course. Van tried to keep afloat, but Nanette controlled every drop of water in the pool, dunking him mercilessly. An hour later, they clambered out, both gasping for breath. You're incredible, Van marveled. He crouched on all fours and shook himself dry, then reverted to his human shape. His fur shrunk back into his body, and his bones snapped back to normal size with a sickening crunch, leaving him scrambling to retie his swimsuit over his skinnier frame. Guess being half mermaid'll do that, huh? Guess so, Nanette grunted, toweling off. She pointedly wrapped her red scarf around her neck and finished drying. Oh, hey, I didn't mean, Van stammered. I mean, I don't care. I'm the last one to judge, yeah? It's whatever, Nanette grumbled. People are jerks. Mermaids are jerks. Fitting in is easier. Maybe. Where's the fun in that? Van said. He gave her a half-hearted howl. We are who we are, so why not embrace it?
Oh, Van, I love Van.
He,
Not
he,
just because we share a last name, but
no, but he's right. He's just a puppy. He's just happy to be there half the time. He's
Mhm,
big ball of furry chaos, and there's a in the world of Mattson Academy, there's definitely a stigma around the were creatures, right? Because
mhm,
it's a curse. You get stuck turning into this monster every full moon, but I always liked werewolves, bears,
mhm,
where whatever. So I liked the idea that they could turn into this creature at will, but
mhm,
at the full moon they lose control. They actually become the feral horror movie monster. So there's this stigma, and Nanette quickly observes that while the school has a couple were students, Van is the only one who ever shows his creature form willingly. Most of the other kids kind of keep it on the DL
mhm.
because they don't want to freak people out. But Van has fun with it. It's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. Just kind of shook out that way for him, and he embraces it.
Yeah. I know. I love that you say that he's like easy with quotation marks, easy to write because he's like low key so simple and
Hmm.
just like, straight to the point. But and some of the passages you write with him, he comes off a lot deeper than you'd expect. Like, not to spoil anything, and I'm not really going to, but like the way he like helps Nanette like kind of get over her thoughts of the stigma of mer people too. Like it's really heartwarming for me. It's like you said, he's a puppy. He like gives you a hug and you feel all warm inside.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. We talked in the other clip about, how I felt like some of these fantasy races, you really don't feel like you can
mhm,
deviate too much. But mermaids are one I really felt like I kind of had a little bit more leeway to
mhm,
do my own thing. And there's definitely, if you look especially in like Greek mythology with sirens
yeah.
and stuff, they have that darker side. And so I like the idea that we've got orcs and trolls and goblins, but the one that people really are kind of about are the
Mhm,
merfolk, because they're still out there sinking ships and eating people until much more recently in the
mhm.
world's history. So Nanette kind of has to bear the brunt of that reputation still.
Yeah. Oh, Nanette. I love Nanette and Van's relationship so much.
It was
Not,
definitely
yeah.
it was definitely one that came about naturally. It was
Yeah.
definitely a relationship that, like, I had written the two characters independently, and the first time that they really interacted, it was definitely like, okay, these two fit together well. They're going to interact more. We're going to come up with more scenes for these two because there's some parallels and what have you.
Mm-hmm. Man, now that you said that, like the ending kills me even more. Not gonna spoil. Read the book. Get it. September 5th. Get it. But yeah. Uh the ending. You also said the ending was easy to write, but we're not gonna get into that because guess what? You need to go read the book, people. Go read the book. The ending's great. I love the epilogue. Epilogue is so interesting. Not gonna talk about it.
The epilogue, yeah, the epilogue was fun to write. The epilogue also got kind of cut in half from what it was originally, but
Yeah.
the other half was more of that, just it was fun for me, not necessarily relevant for anything else. But it's fun to write. And then I was like, all
Yeah.
right, this could maybe be cut.
Yeah, it's exciting. I know. I'm upset that the beginning was cut to because I know I read the chapter.
Hmm.
I read one of the chapters. I believe there was more than one that was cut.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I wish there was a better a not better, but a really good place to fit the spoiler under market. Just because
Hmm.
that's a really cool idea. I really liked that.
Yeah,
And
the undermarket was kind of this gathering place of the magical community, and definitely modeled after just like a kind of farmers market
mhm.
slash like community market that I went to in Baltimore one time. It was just, this, it was under a highway overpass. It was just complete chaos of food and like produce, but also art and knickknacks, and it was just complete and utter chaos. But it was
Mhm.
so much fun, and I was like, this could absolutely be filled with magical people and magical doodads instead of not that.
Mhm.
But yeah, didn't quite fit. Maybe someday I'll clean that chapter up and put it on my website. But
Yeah, I would love that. The readers would love that if they go buy the book and they know what's happening. Go buy the book.
that's right, September 5th.
September 5th.
Or
Yup.
now, if you want to pre-order
Oh
it,
no.
it wouldn't hurt
Yeah.
my feelings.
Have it on the day. Um, but yeah. So, the undermarket, inspired by a place that you actually saw, was in any easy parts. Were they also inspired by like real life events? Is that what like made them kind of easy to write?
Um, no, I think for the end is just I always kind of had the ending in mind.
Mm-hmm.
It shifted a little bit over time. I know it shifted setting at one point. In my head originally, the climax was set in a cave, and now it's not.
Oh,
But uh, I can say that without that's
right.
but right, but kind of the tone and the flavor of the ending was always what it was.
Mhm.
And so I always kind of knew what I was building towards. And then, like I said, I think one day I butted up against it while I was writing, and then it's like, oh, this is the end now. I know this part, and then it all came right out.
Nice. Yeah.
There was a point in the middle where I had kind of been wandering a little bit, and I was like, okay, we got to stop for a minute. We know what the end is. Here's where we are. How do we get from here to there?
Mhm.
No more world building, Jay. Just get to the end.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's exciting. I didn't know that it was originally in a cave. Like, for those who don't know, I don't see every version. Like, Jay goes through different tons of drafts before he even sends it to an editor. So, a lot of these things he's talking about, even I don't know. And I've read the book, I don't know how many times. And each time I've enjoyed it.
that's
But
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad. I know I actually had that thought the other day. I was like, Peyton is probably the person who has read this book the most times in the world other than me.
And your wife.
She's actually never
She's never
she's
read it?
read it once.
Nice.
She read it one time while she was helping me edit. But otherwise, because she says, you know, I talk about it with her so much. She's like,
Yeah.
I don't need to read it. She's like, I already know it. I don't need to read it. I don't want.
It's
She's like, I
just
know every single
no.
word that's on those pages without having actually read them. So
That's hilarious. So yeah, so yeah, those are the easy parts. Easy. Heavy quotation marks with easy, because nothing is ever easy to write, as you will ask any writer. None of it is easy to write. So yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for those little insights on Van, the ending, the beginning, all of it. Kidding.
the middle,
I know. The
yeah,
middle.
it's all in there.
Yeah,
I promise the book has a beginning, middle, and end,
everything you need to make a perfect book.
and
Come
an
on,
epilogue.
guys. And an epilogue, yeah.
No
Extra
prologue.
bonus at the end.
Yeah, no
It's
prologue
just,
though. Maybe someday I'll write a prologue.
yeah, it could be the undermarket, a little flashback. I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Don't listen to me. I'm just the editor. But yeah, so yeah, if you guys are interested in Van, the beginning, middle, and end of the book, Nanette was mentioned a little bit. Nanette's awesome. Go pre-order it now. It'll be on various sites. Right now it is on our website, BSC. I know it off the top of my head. I definitely know it off the top of my head. It's not weird. It's not. Definitely bscpublishinggroup.square.site/Mattson. That is where you can pre-order it now. Later on, it will be on various sites such as Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and other websites as well for bookstores. Thank you, Jay, for chatting with me. Anything else you want to say? Where can they
Uh,
find you?
uh,
Anything at all?
sure. You know, I know my website too, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, my website is jokeefewrites.com, the letter J, and then my last name, O'Keefe, Okeefe, writes.com. I'm also on writes_jo on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram.
Nice. Yeah, go visit his website definitely. He has little blog posts in there about Mattson, of course, about his process of writing, so which will also be in another video. So watch that. But yeah, definitely go visit his website. You can learn more about Connor. But yeah,
Mhm.
thank you so much for watching. Please go support Jay and BSC, and we'll talk to you guys later.